Hey guys, it's Jen, and I'm back with another process video for you. Every Tuesday I bring you a layout using my Felicity Jane kits, and they are amazing. It's a kit club with papers that are exclusive to the kit, and each kit is kind of like its own little mini collection. And so today I am using the July Going Places kit. It's super cute. It has kind of a journey theme, which I think can be used for travel or for a journey through life. And there are things in the kit that kind of give a nod to both viewpoints. And I'm going to be scrapbooking this. It's a large, I think it's like a 6x6 photo of the sky kind of near sunset in Arizona. And I'm just going to flip through the papers to kind of decide how I want to go with this. Originally, I thought I was going to use a pattern paper for my background. And so I'm just kind of flipping through the papers, deciding which one will look best. But I do know for sure that I want my photo to have a white border. So I'm just pulling out some white cardstock and matting that with a thin white border. I do this quite often because I feel like it helps my photo to stand out. I really love the colors of this kit, and so I thought it would be fun to incorporate this striped paper so that you could see all of the different colors on one layout, and so that's what I'm going to do. I'm thinking about using this blue grid. It's a light blue grid paper for my background, and the kit came with these really cute bright teal vellum alphabets, and they're kind of a larger size. They're probably about, I don't even want to try to guess, 2 inches maybe tall. Really cute. And the thing I love about vellum is that when you kind of overlap it, you get the variance of color, plus you can see whatever is behind the letter. It shows through a little bit, so they're really fun. So I know for sure I'm going to use those for my title, and I want to use a title that just says something like Hello Arizona, and there was this one little cactus in the kit, and I thought that would be perfect for this because Arizona has cactuses, and it was just such a cute little motif that I wanted to use. And so I don't know where I'm going to use it yet, but I know I am going to use it. So I'm just going to play around a little bit, and I thought that the things weren't standing out enough on that blue paper since the title was blue and the cactus was that bluish green. So I decided to create my layout on a white background, which is classic Jen Scow style. And I cut that 3x4 piece that says Find Joy in the Journey, and I thought I would use that for just kind of like a little quote embellishment next to the photo. And now I'm mounting my photo on that striped paper that I love so much. And I'm just making the photo mat large enough that you can see a full stripe on top and the bottom and all the stripes on the sides. And there's that Find Joy in the Journey card. It's super cute. And these little gold alphabets are from the 7 paper company that Studio Calico does. And they came in last month's kit, the I Am kit. And I think that was last month's kit. Anyway, they're this gold color and they're really super cute. I ran out of O's, and so I'm just cutting down a D. And it's a little bit wonky on the side, but I don't care. It is obvious what it says, and so it's not I don't think it's too noticeable. So there is like a few kind of heavy pops of black in this kit, but I decided not to incorporate them on the layout because the photo has that, it has a lot of black in it because it's a silhouette of the trees with the light behind it. And so I decided that everything else I wanted to be kind of a bright color. So now I'm trying to decide if I really do want those gold stickers for the word hello because they seemed kind of small. So I'm pulling out some thickers from previous kits. There's some Pink Paisley Color Wash and also some Dear Lizzy thickers. And it seems like a lot of blue with those Dear Lizzy thickers, and the Color Wash ones didn't look quite right. I'm going to end up still using this grid paper, but I'm just going to mount my whole background on it. And I don't want to lose the awesome pattern on the back, which is a just a black and white, it's a black stripe on a white background, and I want to use that for something else later. And so I cut out the center, and now I'm going to cut down my white cardstock so that it can have that nice photo mat on the outside. And I really like the way that that looks. So I'm just going to use a little bit of score tape for mounting this, and I like using this tape when I've gutted a paper because it's nice and thin, and it allows me, if I want to still stitch around the outside, because I'm only gluing right where I need it to be. I'm not gluing on the outside edges of the white cardstock. I don't know if that makes sense what I just said, but it leaves me a little bit of wiggle room if I wanted to tuck anything or stitch the edges. So here I'm trying to decide if I want to put my title to the side of the photo and kind of really overlap it, really emphasize the fact that those are vellum letters, but it just doesn't quite fit and it feels smushed, and so I'm not going to do it, although that would look cute with a smaller word. So now I'm trying to decide exactly how I want to place this. At this point, I think I'm going to use those light aqua colored Hello thickers. And you can kind of see I've overlapped those letters slightly. I really like the way that that looks. And what I'm doing now is deciding that I want a few extra layers behind that photo. So I'm going to cut a few of these papers up and layer them behind the photo. I thought it would be nice to incorporate this kind of Aztec or, Southwestern print behind the photo because it's Arizona, and so I cut a piece of that, but then I flipped it over and it had those plus signs in that bright teal color, and I decided that I liked those more. So I'm just arranging it so that you can see one row of the pluses on the top and on the side and the bottom. So you can see that there. And then I just cut a really small mat of that yellow paper. I thought about using that Going Places cards or pattern paper as well, but decided against it. So now I'm just going to get my layers stuck down, and I'm going to gut the middles of those pieces so that I can keep them, because I love these papers so much. I don't want to waste any bit of them. And so I'm going to do the same to the yellow paper here. I'm cutting out the portion that won't be shown. I like to do that when there's papers I really like, or when I'm working with a kit, and I'm trying to get a lot out of the kit. So, or if I just absolutely love the papers, which is why I'm doing it here. So I wanted to add a little something to the background. I found this Tim Holtz dot fade stencil, which I absolutely love, and I'm going to just use some distress ink, and I'm going to use I think I'm using Evergreen Bough, and I had somebody ask me if the correct pronunciation was bow or bow, because I've heard it both ways, and I think it's a regional thing. It's bough like the bough of a tree, which here in Utah, at least for me, we say bough, tree bough, and so I think it's just a matter of who you are, but anyway, I say Evergreen Bough. And so I'm just kind of putting that in a diagonal around the layout and just placing it behind the photo, kind of creating a photo mat, and then a little bit of interest to the top of the page as well. And I'll just keep adding it until I'm satisfied. And I really love that stencil. It just gives just the right amount of texture, and it goes with everything. So now I'm going to try to lay out my title, and what I'm going to use to stick it down is I'm using my little Xyron sticker maker, and I like it because it puts an evenly distributed coat of adhesive on the backs of the letters so you can't see the adhesive showing through. Sometimes vellum is hard to stick down for that reason, because you see the adhesive through it. So it's nice to stitch down, to staple down, or to do this, and I prefer doing this. So I put the Z through backwards. Nice one. Luckily, I will probably not use the other Z. There's like 3 or 4 of some of the letters and 1 or 2 of the letters that you don't use very often. So I have 2 Z's, and now they're both gone. which is fine. So I'm going to adhere the photo, and then I'll go ahead and get my title stuck down. So now they're just these vellum stickers, which is perfect. And I'm slightly overlapping them, and I'm not keeping them perfectly on a baseline. So I'm moving them slightly up and down as I'm placing them down, if that makes sense. And there's a little space to the right of the word Arizona, and that's where I end up putting that cute little cactus. And then since I moved my layers up, and I put more layers on the photo, there's less space at the top, and so I felt like that gold word works now because it's a smaller space to fit in. So I go ahead and lay that down, and now I'm just trying to decide exactly where I'm going to put everything. There was this stamp that says follow your heart, and I knew I wanted to use that, so I'm pulling that out. There's also an arrow that we got I'm just going through the different cut aparts and die cuts that we got in the kit. So that white arrow that you can barely see right now is a die cut that we got in the kit, and then I'm pulling out a few other things from the cut apart sheet from this kit, and also that little like journaling block to the right, that is from a previous kit, as well as the tag that I pulled out, that's from a previous kit as well. Those two little chevrons are from last month or the month before cut aparts. So I keep my Felicity Jane kits all together in one iris container, and because a lot of the pieces coordinate from month to month, they have a common thread running through, which I really love, because then I can just add last month's kit to the next month's, and so on and so on. So I have all of my Felicity Jane kits from ever in the same box, and lots of stuff coordinates, and I love that. So I'm going to emboss that follow your heart with gold. So I'm just using my Versamark ink to stamp it on the tag, and then using my Ranger Princess Gold embossing powder, which is the prettiest gold that there ever was, I think. And I'm just going to use my heat gun and emboss that. I love embossing because it's like magic. It's still fun to watch that embossing powder melt. And anyway, I did use my EK Success powder tool to prep the embossing surface before, so I didn't get extra embossing powder where I didn't want it. It just removes the static. And I'm also going to emboss that white arrow. So I just stuck the whole thing in that embossing, or into the Versamark ink, and now I'm embossing it. And it's that nice pretty gold now instead of white, which is awesome. And I'm going to use those two little arrows, one at the top and one at the bottom. And I found a little border strip that was that peachy color that I'm going to place at the bottom as well, just for a little bit more interest, and it brings in that peachy color from the top. So that's what I like to do, is just go through the die cuts and find different pieces that I can kind of dot around and anchor my title area and my journaling area. So I'm looking through the flare now to see what I want to add. I'm pretty sure I want to add that hello flare, and I'm thinking about that heart. There was a really cute compass that was black, but like I said, I didn't want to incorporate too much black on the layout, so I decided not to. And on this stamp set from this month, there's a cute little car. I thought it was in the circle, but the circle and the car are separate, and so that's awesome. I'm using some Smoothie ink from Close to My Heart and just stamping that next to the word hello, because this was a road trip. We actually drove out for my uncle's funeral. So in the journaling, I'm just talking about how I've driven through Arizona, but I've never driven to Arizona as my destination. And so I was just talking about how beautiful it was, and the palm trees and the cactuses and the warm weather. It was February, so it was wintertime back in Utah. Well, I guess everywhere around the United States it was wintertime, but it was so beautiful. And I was just talking about how even though we were there under sad circumstances, I felt like it was just, a tender mercy from God that it was so beautiful and warm and nice, and kind of we could enjoy that aspect of being there. So that's what my journaling is going to talk about. That little circle is from the cut apart sheet, and it's just a cute little geotag. And now I'm writing that journaling that I talked about with my black Muji pen. And I think while I was rambling, I also stamped an arrow above Follow Your Heart with that same Smoothie ink. And I'm just writing kind of small because I want to make sure it all fits on that one tag. And I already explained to you what the journaling's about. And I'm just I left a little bit of room at the top and the side because I knew I wanted to tuck it underneath the tag and underneath the photo mat. I'm just cutting a little bit of twine to put in that tag. I always like to make sure my tags have some string in them or something. And I put a little bit of dimensional adhesive below the top of the tag so it could pop up a little bit. And I am stapling that little chevron arrow just like I did on the top. And I'm going to place that gold arrow pointing to the title, and I'm going to place the word hello that's on that flare badge right on top of it. So it says hello Arizona, hello, kind of. And I'm fine with the repetition of that word, no big deal. So I know I want to use some of these word strips, and I thought I might try to tie in the bottom of the journaling to the bottom of the layout, like where that little border strip was, but I ended up not liking it, so I'm going to move them up above the tag. And now I'm just looking I really felt like I needed another pop of that teal color that's in the title, and so I knew there was some in the cut apart, so I was just looking for what I could add that would have some of that color. So there's also that little flag, but I don't end up putting it there. I'm going to use that word smile instead. So the little word strips say smile, journey, road trip, and hope. And I thought those were all very appropriate. And like I mentioned, there are nods to both kinds of journeys, an actual road trip journey, or that word hope and the word journey kind of go with more of a, your personal journey. So I'm putting some Heidi Swapp Gold Color Shine, and I thought this would be the finishing touch. I am stamping a date in that same Smoothie ink, February, and I wrote February 2015, but it was really 2014. Oh my gosh, no, it wasn't. So I put February 2015, and then I was like, no, it's February 2014. So I found something to cover it up, and so I could restamp 2014, and it really was 2015. I think I'm losing my mind. I'm going to have to go back. So I restamped it so it said 2014. I'm going to have to go back and do it again. That's hilarious. Okay, so in the final photos, you'll see that it says 2014, but it really is 2015. So thanks for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed. Be sure to check out felicityjane.com for more information about the kits, and be sure to check out my blog, craftyjenscow.com, for the still photos, much more information, and links to any other products that I used. Thanks so much for watching. We'll talk to you soon.